From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
More fire and more response. How crews in Southern California are managing the latest wildfire. And could MetraPark house illegal immigrants? What Yellowstone County commissioners are suggesting and how it would work. Plus, the trend of closing doors, why some restaurants could be shutting down in downtown Billings. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Friday, January 24th. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with MetraPark.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. We made it through the work week.
Yeah.
Here we are, and the weather has become much more temperate, of course, as the week evolved, but we do have some conditions this weekend.
Yeah, we do have some snow this morning, and some may linger until tomorrow morning. We're seeing some flurries here in Billings, but once the snow goes away, we've got a really dry stretch on the way, and we're going to see some warmer temperatures after seeing a cool down across the weekend. We're heading back into the 40s for a good portion of the area as we get into the early part of next week. Now, yesterday, another day we stayed below average, our high only getting up to about 32. We may try to beat that today. Actually, we may see our high earlier this morning, and temperatures possibly could fall as the day goes on. Our lows, well, pretty much on target with that 18. Top gust yesterday of 37 miles an hour. The winds are starting to calm down, but we could still have across the weekend 20 to 30 mile an hour gust, maybe even stronger than that, so just be mindful of it. Moisture totals for the month and year still pacing ahead, still ahead for the month for the snow, but for the season we're still behind. We have a chance to make a bit of a dent this morning. Not a whole lot of snow here in Billings, and then that should be about it as we move forward in terms of any type of snow. 28 right now at the airport, feels like 21. Winds out of the southwest at about 7 miles an hour. We've got temperatures mainly in the 20s as we wake up this morning. You can see some of that snow there on the Doppler, and some of us, maybe enough snow to have a winter storm warning and winter weather advisory kicking in. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a bit.
All right, the winter continues. Miller, thank you so much. And down in California, firefighters are making progress on the Hughes fire near Los Angeles after the latest blaze forced thousands to evacuate. This comes after a difficult month for fire crews and Californians, escaping again and again as wildfires rage through that area. CBS's Naomi Ruckham takes a look at this latest fight and why it was easier to manage.
Though high winds swiftly took the Hughes fire from 500 to 10,000 acres since Wednesday, firefighters were quicker, ramping up attacks from the ground and the sky.
The aerial attack was absolutely phenomenal.
Fire crews say they made progress thanks to sufficient resources and steady containment.
We definitely have plenty of water, plenty of resources. We're well over 4,000 personnel on this fire. We've got the reservoir right there we can dip out of and draft out of.
At one point, more than 30,000 people were under mandatory evacuation orders, though some have now been downgraded to warnings.
You could see all the smoke coming in and it kind of would block out the sun, so then everyone was kind of freaking out and people were going outside and calling their parents.
At least 8 fires are now burning in Southern California, including the Palisades and Eaton fires, blamed for at least 28 deaths. On Thursday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed new legislation providing $2.5 billion in funding to the relief efforts in Los Angeles.
People feel helpless, but not everybody feels hopeless. And I think this is about distilling a sense of hopefulness.
Lawmakers also signed off on $4 million to help local governments restore homes and communities, along with another $1 million to help schools rebuild. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
And here in Montana, Yellowstone County commissioners, in an unprecedented move, are offering the use of MetraPark to detain undocumented immigrants caught in the region. The decision coming after President Donald Trump declared a national emergency at the southern border and sent orders to increase deportations. In a letter to all 4 of Montana's congressional delegation, Commission Chair Mark Morse says the commissioners want to help, writing that MetraPark and its close proximity to the airport could be a location that would work. In that letter, he says the Yellowstone County Detention Facility is over capacity and likely could not handle a large increase of inmates, nor could other jails in the area. He says some of MetraPark, which is currently 189 acres with an expo center and pavilion, could be repurposed to house inmates. In recent years, the county has spent millions to upgrade the facility, and it's capable of being used in cases of natural disasters. Morse admits he has no idea if this is feasible or is something that would be allowed at the event center, but spoke on his decision to offer up MetraPark and why he could see it working.
Offer a solution to the federal government, and they come in here and arrest a bunch of people under their authority. That will make Billings a better place. That will help us with our crime problem here. If the full board of county commissioners decided to negotiate with the government, we obviously would have to tell them it's just a big open space. They would have to configure it for however they want to use it.
Morse tells MTN News he spoke with the other two commissioners, John Osland and Mike Waters, before drafting the letter himself. Montana Representative Ryan Zinke certainly seems on board with the idea, saying on social media, quote, "Round him up, send him home. Montana stands ready to execute the president's directive and remove the criminal illegal aliens from our communities." This is a quote, "and send them back home to their countries of origin. I applaud Yellowstone County commissioners for their creative solution to help with the effort." And yesterday, a federal judge in Seattle temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order that seeks to eliminate birthright citizenship. The judge calling the president's order blatantly unconstitutional. The order was swiftly challenged by 22 states as well as advocacy groups who say it violates the 14th Amendment. Trump told reporters that his administration will appeal. And here in Billings, surviving as a restaurant has always been hard, with the National Restaurant Association estimating 1 in 3 not making it through their first year. Recently, here locally, several long-term businesses have been forced to shut their doors. Those include Bin 119 and Wild Ginger. It's a trend in the past year, with a dozen restaurants having to close across the Magic City. This morning, our David J. looks into those closures and how others remain successful.
The restaurant business is always challenging. By all means, close down Uber Brew in downtown Billings. Everything's out here now in the West End. Madhouse on Grand Avenue also had to make some changes to stay profitable. The Madhouse Gastropub is now the Madhouse Bar and Grill.
If you don't have ownership that has capital to spend, it's very hard to make it through a couple years. That's the general basic. You're going to hear that across the board answer.
Nate Southwick is the chef and GM for Madhouse, which opened in May of 2023. In June of 2024, it closed for 6 weeks, and Southwick helped it reopen in August of last year.
They were hoping for 10 or 11% profit on the end. You're hoping for 10 or 11. So that means if you have a 4% error on your food cost and maybe a 5% error on your beverage for the week, there goes everything.
Southwick has worked as a chef in San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Colorado Springs, and he knows what it takes to be successful in the restaurant business.
Perseverance and consistent quality. Those are the two things you need, and then all the rest can be figured out in the wash.
How much fun is that to try to match it with the beer?
It's actually the funnest part of my job.
By all means, executive chef Damian Beartusk works on a special fish and chip sauce to go with the introduction of a new beer.
These are people that are trying to create value and bring people together.
Chandler Griffin is the president and CEO of By All Means and admires the creativity of the chefs. Griffin teamed up with Mark Hastings at Uber Brew, and they had to close that downtown restaurant.
The biggest disruption we have is customer destabilization. Like, people working from home changed the entire lunch model. 30 to 40% of the restaurant business was probably in your lunch that's potentially gone.
Griffin says that all started with COVID. According to the Downtown Billings Association, the number of people downtown at noon has decreased since 2019.
There isn't one reason why we're seeing some restaurant closures. I would just say, the restaurant business is a tough business.
I don't see anything different about today than I did 30 years ago.
I praise our young entrepreneurs for getting into it. Some of the bravest people I've ever met in my life.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thanks so much. And in other culinary news, the James Beard Award semi-finalists have been announced. And as always, Montana is well represented. The award is considered to be among the nation's most prestigious honors for restaurants, bars, and chefs. This year, 4 Montana chefs are up for Best Chef in the mountain area, including Billings' own Nick Steen Gullings from Walker's. Several other bars and restaurants across the state are also vying for awards. This marks the 35th year of that event. Love Walker's. Buying beer and wine in Montana might soon become easier. Montana lawmakers are looking to pass a bill that would allow delivery of those products from services like DoorDash. Right now, beer and wine can be delivered by DoorDash in nearly 40 other states. Billings State Representative Katie Zolnikov is sponsoring House Bill 211. If it passes, it would only allow delivery from businesses with off-premise alcohol sale licenses. So that includes grocery and convenience stores, not restaurants. A driver would also not deliver to places like college campuses, public spaces, or to someone visibly intoxicated.
I think a lot of the grocery stores in Montana see this as just a no-brainer of, it's worked in other states. It's proven that it's safe. There's robust age identification. So it's just kind of getting up with the times.
Grocery delivery services increased by 56% from 2022 to 2024. And a popular Billings restaurant is in need of the community's help after its owner says the business fell victim to an elaborate DoorDash scam. Cajun Fatty's staff say the restaurant's DoorDash iPad used to carry out delivery orders had been experiencing issues. That led to them receiving a call for technical help. And that call ended up being a scam, draining the business of thousands of dollars. Scammers posing as the company were able to get personal information and changed account passwords. The restaurant's owner says DoorDash accounts for 40% of their business. After losing their Grand Avenue location, it hasn't been easy.
You're violated on all these levels that you just, I'm a trusting person and you just kind of don't expect it. We've been doing this since 2012. It's never been an easy thing. We're like any other small business that's just trying to, find your place in the world and hopefully make enough money and to grow.
Cajun Fatty's usually organizes Pay What You Can benefits for veterans 4 times a year. On Monday, they're hosting another similar fundraiser to help recover some of their losses. Anyone who donates Monday will receive a meal.